Welcome back. Bippo's Place for Smiles is a pediatric dental office, and you'll recall from our last segment with Bippo's, we talked about how they make children comfortable visiting the dentist, helping our young ones establish best dental practices early on. Well, today we're covering another topic entirely, and one that is unfortunately ever present in our society these days. Here to explain is Dr. Jill Donaldson with Bippo's Place for Smiles. Well, welcome back, Jill.
Thanks. It's nice to be back.
Welcome to have you back. So today we're talking about cyberbullying. So how does this relate to Bippo's?
Well, it's a subject that I decided that I wanted to start to handle because of the fact that as a business owner myself, I obviously am also a public figure, and we're going to be subjected to negative reviews online sometimes. Unfortunately, sometimes those negative reviews can be more of a personal attack, and that's something that we have to deal with, and I have to deal with myself personally. I wanted to talk about it just because of the fact that I think sometimes the negative reviews aren't very factual, and I think that they can sometimes continue to troll online social media markets looking for every way that they can disparage a business. And it turns into something that it's actually really hard to fight as a business owner.
Sure. So do you have a personal story that maybe you'd be willing to share or not with us today?
Well, obviously we have had negative reviews, and most of the time I try to put it aside and not think about it too much. Obviously, I do want to address if there's a true constructive criticism, then we have staff meetings right away about it. If there are things that we can actually address
that are valid,
that are a valid constructive criticism review, I want to know those things about our practice. But sometimes it's just awful, mean personal attacks, and it's hurtful. And we did, a few weeks ago, we had a nonstop issue where we kept having to report to Facebook things that were being posted and having them try to be removed. But as a business owner, it's actually very difficult to have people blocked on your business page.
Right.
And it just made me realize that, you know, if I'm having this much trouble handling this type of a negative review or things that are personal attacks, I can only imagine how difficult this is for children and teens to have to deal with social media sometimes today.
Definitely. So you do have that personal connection, unfortunately, to this experience that, as you mentioned, so many people do these days. You know, how much does it affect, I guess, adults, children, and teens in different ways, would you say?
Right. Well, I mean, I think that as a teenager, I can only imagine how difficult it is to see something written about you that's put out into a social media platform.
Right, because you're with children every day, right?
These are my patients that I'm talking about, that they're having to deal with the same issues that I'm having to deal with. And I'm a 45-year-old mature business owner. I should be able to handle those types of negative reviews. But sometimes they keep me up at night because they're untruthful, and I don't have a way to necessarily argue the point. You don't want to get into a virtual shouting match online. Right. It just becomes warfare. You can't win doing that. So you kind of just have to swallow it and take it. For a child, I don't necessarily know how they deal with it. I hope they're seeking help. I hope they're going to adults to talk to an adult about what's happening to them if it's happening. I hope they're taking a firm stance on not allowing it to affect their lives.
Sure. And so do you have a special campaign that you're involved in, or something that
we are. Yes, we are starting a campaign about stopping cyberbullying, particularly. We're going to be running some public service announcements about it. And mostly I'm just here to say, make sure that you as an adult and as a parent are watching what you're saying and what you're doing online. Right. Because children and teens are learning from us. Right. And I want social media to be used as a positive force. It should be for positive posts. It should be for connecting with loved ones and old friends. It should be for sharing stories of your life that are positive. And if you are going to use it to make a negative review, make the negative review factual and not a personal attack against people.
Right. Right, and I'm not sure why people feel the need to do so. I think that you know, it's an easy outlet because no one sees you, no one knows who you are, necessarily where you're coming from or what the deal is. So I think that kind of makes it an easier platform for people to address things that may or may not be fair. But you're saying you'd be open to these constructive criticisms to try and make your business a better place
without question. Right. Yeah. The ones that are more personal, there's not a lot that we can do with other than go home and cry a little bit. Sure. and you know, and hope that maybe at some point in time that negative person decides to move on to some other category rather than us.
Right. Well, I think you're fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
Shake it off, girl. I'm like, oh my God,
Thank
we're getting a little teary-eyed up here. Yeah.
Thank you.
But it is, I mean, it does affect people. I mean, adults, children, teens, the full gamut. So any suggestions maybe for the younger patients who maybe visit your
Yes.
office and are dealing with this themselves in their own way?
Well, number one, I would encourage people not to share negative posts, not to comment on negative posts, not to like negative posts, and to themselves be a beacon of light that says, I'm only going to post positive things and respond to positive posts.
Right. Yeah. That's
That
good
would be my
advice there.
recommendation.
Right. Or I always think of Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird, right? I mean, put yourself in this other person's shoes, Scout, right? I mean, make
That's
sure
right.
that you know, consider all aspects
Right.
before you,
And
you
don't believe
click that one button.
And don't believe everything you read online,
Right.
because sometimes misery loves company.
Right. Sometimes it's just not true.
That's
All
right.
All right, Doctor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So for tips on how you can spot, react, and end cyberbullying, you can visit STOPBULLYING.GOV. And of course, there's much more to come on Great Day after the break, so make sure you stick with us. We'll be right back.